Hey guys, it's Nerdy here. It's no secret that I'm an avid enjoyer of idol-centric, all-girls anime that comes off frivolous and basic but tends to explore intense emotional depth. Surprisingly though, this used to be an aspect of my interest that I would often hand-wave or shun. You see, back in high school I was teased by my friend group of fellow weird anime nerds because I wasn't being a weird anime nerd the correct way. That sentiment followed into my adult years until, of all things, the Review Starlight dance group I was in that died in the pandemic was reborn in 2024. Ever since then, I've been back in the fray of idol obsession. It's gotten to the point where one of my main self-care rituals is taking a bubble bath and entertaining myself with episodes of whatever idol series is on the brainwaves at the moment. What I'm trying to imply with all this is that I am a prime target for Uma brain rot. I am arguably more likely to succumb to this than most others who have fallen down the horse rabbit hole. Horse hole. Being someone who's been into idol content since 2017, I've always known what Uma Musume was, but I really didn't know how much heat it was packing until everyone got absolutely consumed by the global release of the mobile game. Unfortunately for me, I cannot play it. Not because it's unavailable to me or anything, but because I know what it will turn me into if I download it. I am not normal when it comes to cute anime girls, and I know this about myself. My refusal to play this game is for my own sake. Fortunately for me though, Uma Musume is more than just a mobile game. It's also an anime. Seasons 1 and 2 were really cute, but damn, I really like that one science horse popping up on my feed that can make silly gender potion. Didn't my friend say there was a movie with her in it? I should watch that. Holy shit! So here we are again, back in the brain rot building, coming to terms with my love for idol YURI slop all culminated into this bullshit, and now I'm working on a fan MV about the science horse's obsession with the angry butch horse. If you're a longtime viewer of my channel, you know that I am no stranger to animatics. A lot of my initial following on this channel came from these silly little videos I've made of blorbos to songs. Hell, my most popular video is still my god-awful Chihiro animation meme that I made at 16. Please God, free me from my prison. Anyways, over the years, I've gotten a few questions here and there about how I managed to make these animatics, and I thought, you know what? Since making a video to a copyrighted song is gonna completely fuck me over, I might as well make a video explaining my process. Amazing solution, truly. It gives me more opportunities to talk about horse YURI. Yippee! Animatic breakdown time. Okay, actually, tangent before we get into this, I know that the term animatic is really being stretched here. Yes, I know what an animatic actually is, but it's not my fault that YouTube took this technical term for rough draft animation and changed the meaning into elaborate art envies. Animatic just rolls off the tongue better, so I will continue to use it, much to the annoyance of professional animators. And I will continue to piss professional animators off as I explain my completely scuffed methods to the masses. So with all that preamble out the way, this is how I made the World Execute Tachyon MV from start to finish. 1. Picking the song. Okay, so it wasn't like I was planning on making an animatic about Agnes Tachyon. I feel like a lot of artists who have made music video animatics or fan edits can attest to the sort of death grip a song will have on you when you realize it can make a really cool fan MV. The same thing happened to me when I was on a walk to mail out Etsy packages. I was thinking about how intensely the Jungle Pocket Agnes Tachyon dynamic appealed to me when I had an epiphany. Poketaki is fucking Horse Jackie! Real ones know how special that OC ship is to me. Realer ones know that I have multiple songs and playlists associated with them. So I said, fuck it, let's listen to some Jackie songs and see how Poketaki core they are. And that's how I found it. World Execute Me, a melee song I adore that I've always associated with Miki. So I listened to it. And then I listened to it again. I listened to it a third time. The images started pouring into my gay little brain. Oh my god, this is such a Tachyon song. This is more of a Tachyon song than it is a Miki song. Holy hell, do I do it? Do I make a fan MV? Fuck it, let's entertain the idea by taking a closer look at the lyrics. 2. Lyric layout. One thing I've always done before committing to these animatics is something I call a lyric layout. The process is pretty self-explanatory. I paste the lyrics into a document and then add visual sequences under each line of the song. This is something I do because it can really help turn the vague images in my head into tangible thoughts. It essentially helps my less vivid ideas feel a bit easier to visualize. If there ends up being a whole bunch of lyrics or instrumental sequences that I can't for the life of me come up with visuals to, I'll either listen to those sections of the song again and figure something out, or I'll realize that I'm just not ready to commit to making this idea a real thing and leave the project behind for a possible later date. These are fan MVs, after all. I don't have any obligations to actually go through with them, but if the layout gives me enough inspiration, I'll keep going and commit to making this a thing. In the case of World Execute Me, I had a pretty clear roadmap in mind. There were some aspects that were still foggy, but it was enough for me to move on and officially start drafting this thing. 3. Rough board ideas. So here's where you really learn about how unprofessional I am when it comes to making animated media. Please do not follow any of this wholeheartedly if you want a genuine career in animation. I, Nerdy-arty, am just a silly little fish. Professional animation is not my job. I do these little projects for fun, and for a little fandom clout. And I do actually know how to do things the proper way. I took multiple animation classes in uni, and I have the book, the book. But I use that knowledge and my resources very liberally. So when I tell you that this is the first time I genuinely tried to board one of my fan MVs, don't bully me. I was lazy and fueled by nothing but brain rot and passion to get the thing angrily warbling in my head out of there. And if you're wondering, yes, that means I raw dogged this one, and that one too. I went off a lyric layout and a fucking dream, baby. But I am not the nerdy of the past. I am a changed fish, willing to reevaluate techniques I once loathed. So I decided for this project I'd start with some rough boards to see if I really wanted to go through with the video, because believe it or not, I was still on the fence about it. And I'm happy to announce that I get it now. Boards are fucking awesome. These terrible little doodles only serve to make me more excited about what I could do if I committed to the bit. I love boarding. I am so ready for this. I genuinely can't believe it took me brain rotting over butch femme horse YURI to finally internalize the importance of storyboards. Not my university animation classes, haunts. And it's not like I had never drawn storyboards before. I'm pretty sure if I went into any of my animation class projects raw without boards, my professor would have smited me on the spot. As he should, by the way. He did not play when it came to proper pre-production either. Once, I completely forgot to add frame numbers and spacing charts to one of my rough animations, and it completely bumped me down a whole letter grade. Rightfully so. Anyways, Ryan, if you're watching this right now, I am speaking directly to you. I'm sorry. I did not use frame numbers or spacing charts for the animated cuts of this MV either. But this isn't for a grade, so I feel like I've gone on too long about how absolutely scuffed and wrong my animation process is, but honestly, this feels like a confessional to me. I am kneeling in front of the animation gods, laying out all of my sins and asking for forgiveness as I have committed the greatest crime of them all, being a lazy bitch. But hey, if it's any solace, I'm slowly integrating these crucial aspects of pre-production into more and more of my projects, and surprisingly, I am enjoying it. I honestly attribute this to my realization that I hate boarding digitally. The fact that you can zoom in makes me too focused on little details that do not matter. And if I need to refine them digitally later, I can. I end up doing these sketchbook boards in chunks throughout the video process, and they really help me with more than just visualizing my ideas. But I feel like that's enough ranting about them for now. Let's move on to another aspect of pre-production that I honestly should have done before starting the boards. 4. Learning to draw the characters. After that initial pass of boards, I really did feel excited and committed to making this idea a reality. But unlike other fan projects I had done, I hadn't explored the designs of these characters at all. I only just got into Uma Musume, and drawing these characters less times than you can count on one hand was not gonna cut it. I am happy to report, though, that I did a very good thing here. I did studies! Beginning of a New Era is a beautifully animated movie. I really liked the style and range of facial expressions, so I was super excited to study it. I did this by redrawing some simple screen caps of Poke and Taki from the anime to lay out their facial features, and then I replicated the official art of their racing outfits from the game. Because the pages in the sketchbook I'm currently working on are pretty thin, I was able to essentially draw on top of those imitation sketches in my own art style to figure out what aspects I wanted to exaggerate and what little quirks I wanted to add. I am a huge fan of taking solid but sometimes repetitive idol girl designs and giving them a little bit of that Tumblr spice, won't lie. That's why I decided to give Poke freckles and Taki some prominent wrinkles under her eyes. I think these exploration sketches turned out really well, and it made these characters super fun for me to draw too. With that though, I was already feeling the hype surging through my veins. I could no longer satisfy myself with mere prep work. I had to do it. I had to go for it and officially start this thing. 5. Jumping into it. I feel like this is the point where a lot of people end up abandoning these kinds of fan projects. Truth be told, you can dream about something for however long you want and make pre-production sketches until the end of time, but actually committing? That shit's hard. I'm like this with a lot of other creative endeavors of mine, but with fan animatics, it's different. I make these little music videos for myself and maybe 5 other fandom friends, so the pressure to get something perfect out is hardly there. Regardless, starting anything is hard, so I'll try to lay out a couple things I do to keep the momentum going while actually making the damn thing. Nothing motivates me more than creating a strong opening. There are few things in this life that bring me more hype than getting the first 15 seconds of an animatic done. Watching that shit back literally infuses my body with inspiration and hope and determination and all the other things. My process when we get into video creation is actually quite linear. The first few clips I put into the timeline of the editing program I'm using are more often than not exactly the same as the ones in the final video. This is not normal when it comes to genuine animated projects. The reason why you wouldn't want to do it this way is pretty simple. If you're not sharing your sketches and ideas with a client or your team for approval before putting something final down, you end up making yourself do more work if they don't like it. But when it's just you, your mind is the client and your hands are the team. It doesn't need to go through anyone else, it just has to exist at a level you're happy with. Granted, we as artists tend to have some wild imaginations, so getting the first 15 seconds down can get a little lofty. In the case of World Execute Tachyon, the lofty bit for me was the first 2 cuts of Taki putting on her racing uniform. I knew I wanted those bits to be fully animated, because if they weren't, they wouldn't make me hyped for what was to come. My mind palace dictated that these first 2 cuts had to be animated. So this is what shall be done. For the first coat animation, I actually filmed myself putting on a coat so I could get it exactly how I wanted it to. It's the first thing people will see after all. It has to make an impact. Another thing that becomes clear to me when I work on the first 15 seconds of these animatics is the color palette I'll be going with. Color palettes for animated projects can be as limited or as varied as you want. My personal favorite fan animatic I've made only uses gray and black with limited pops of red. So for this project, I also wanted something simple and bold. When I had my first 15 seconds down, I also had my final palette down. For this video, it ended up being these 5 colors. For me, getting these first 15 seconds down solid is like creating a proof of concept. It's a way to tell yourself, this is what you're capable of. Let's keep going so we can marvel at how awesome it'll be when we're done. But that's the first 15 seconds, and this song is, 3 minutes and 28 seconds long. Oh my god, what the fuck? This is gonna take forever. How am I gonna— 6. Getting through it. So you've gotten over that first hurdle, but the project is still nowhere near finished and you're dreading all the work that has to be done. It's completely normal to feel this way. So once again, here are all the things I did for this project that motivated me to push through. The first is something that is standard and pretty much a no-brainer. Put those ugly little rough boards into your timeline and sync them up with your audio. Boards aren't just there for visualization, they're there to determine timing as well. If you're doing animated cuts, it's extremely important to know how many frames those cuts will be, especially when you're drawing an animating program is not the same as your video editing program. Another thing I find boards help with is making the project feel more complete or doable. I know what it's like to stare at a timeline that has a whole bunch of dead space where the audio is and get extremely overwhelmed by it. It honestly baffles me now that I was able to push through it on all these other projects without rough boards. What the hell was I on back then? Putting your boards in the timeline really follows that motto of, it just has to exist. You can make it better later. That helps so much, man. Your storyboard doodles can be as ugly as you want. All they have to do is be there and help with the timing. Like seriously, look at how scuffed some of these are. Do you know what's going on here? No? Well, I do, and right now, I'm the only person that needs to understand. You know what also helps? Finding people that gas you the fuck up. Get in a call with friends while drawing or animating. Share little moments that you love with like-minded individuals. If you feel like you can't do it for you, know that there are others out there who love consuming media like this. I said the fandom clout bit as a joke earlier, but there is some truth in sharing whips of a fan project with a community you love and finding joy in seeing them connect with it. And maybe your homies will help you believe in your own hype too. Enough hype to rewatch that shit over and over. Rewatch what you've done like 20 times. Rewatch the whole thing before you start work on it for the day. Rewatch it when a part you were excited about gets done. Rewatch the whole damn thing 5 times before you go to bed. Rewatch it. Become the biggest fan of your animatic. Get excited for the parts that are yet to be created. If you've made animatics in the past, rewatch those to show how much you've improved. Nothing helps motivate you more than believing in your own hype. There may be a point near the end of the project where you want nothing more than for it to be done. And sometimes the fact that it isn't complete will paralyze you a little bit. That is totally normal, and it happened to me while working on this animatic. It's also okay to step away from the project for a little bit to get your head back on straight. Obviously, you don't want to step away for too long because it might make you less likely to come back to it later, but you don't want to overwork yourself either. If it's any solace, I, Nerdy-arty, believe in you. You've come this far. I know you can get it done. Because after all that time dreaming, conceptualizing, and working hard, getting it out there will make you feel a relief like no other. Trust me.
Holy shit.
7. It's finished. What now? So yeah, it's done. The weird little video warbling in my head for a month is now immortalized in fan animatic form. And man, does it feel awesome. There are a few shots and bits that I could have done better on, but it exists, and it makes me and the people in my little brain rot circles happy. Just as intended. When you make something you're happy with, don't be afraid to pimp it the fuck out. Share it on all your socials. Share it in friend servers even if they could give less of a fuck about the subject matter. Share it with your IRLs. If you're proud of it, then your emotions will come through to those who choose to engage with it. This video kind of divulged into motivational advice instead of actual production and editing help, but I seriously hope you got something out of it. If anything, I made it to do a triple whammy of brain rot content, process sharing, and showing off a fan project I'm really happy with. I did a lot of cool things with Clip Studio and Filmora to make my vision a reality, so I'd love to yap about some shots that I'm very happy with if you'll let me. I already talked about the creation of the first 2 shots, but I really like them and I think they're great mood setters. Then, oh my god, the camera lens that transitions into Poke's necklace and then the sun catcher in Taki's fingers, I really cooked with that. That shot turning out well made me bump up the significance of the sun catcher throughout the whole video, to be honest. It was like a lot less prominent in my initial mind palace. Another thing I think I handled really well were the glitch effects. They come pre-baked into Filmora, and I could have gone really overboard with them, but I think I used them the right amount. Also, abandoning them entirely after Taki gains the light in her eyes was a deliberate choice. This here is probably one of my favorite animated cuts from the whole thing. It's simple, but I think the squash and stretch turned out really yummy. But, I can't talk about animated cuts without bringing up these 2. Holy shit, I spent so long trying to get them right. And I know I wasn't gonna be able to perfectly replicate the shots from the movie I was imitating, but, holy shit, I kind of forgot I was capable of doing, decent animation. I'm a lot better than I remember myself to be. Finally, the last thing I want to highlight are these stills. I just think they're neat. Anyways, if you haven't watched the final animatic at this point, please do check it out. It's linked right here and in the description for your viewing pleasure. With that though, that's pretty much all I have for this little process breakdown video. If you'd like to support my work, all of my social media links, my commission link, and my Patreon link are in the description below as well. But even so, a like or a comment on this video is support enough for me. I'd love to hear what you think about my process or the animation as a whole. Are you also in Uma brain rot hell? If so, let me know who your favorite Uma is as well so I can judge you on it. With that though, thank you so much for sticking through this weird ass video. Hopefully I'll see you in the next one, whatever the hell that may be. Bye!